So today we're going to examine how to interpret arterial blood gases. First thing you want to know is the normal ranges that we're going to be dealing with. First, for the partial pressure of carbon dioxide, we're looking between 35 and 45. For oxygen, between 80 and 100 millimeters of mercury. For your pH, you want to be between 7.35 and 7.45. And for your bicarbonate concentrations, you want to be between 22 and 26 millimoles per liter. So what ABGs are going to allow us to determine is first whether we're in an acidic or alkalinic condition, and second, what is the cause of that, whether respiratory or metabolic. First, what I'll do is go through the steps in this process, and then after that we'll look at some examples to confirm that you know what's going on. The first thing we look at is the pH to determine if we're in an acidic or alkalinic environment. After that, we're going to look at the carbon dioxide to determine whether we're in a respiratory or metabolic condition. Then we're going to compare the CO2 and bicarbonate to make sure that what we hypothesized is going on is actually going on. Our next step is to determine compensation. If we're in a respiratory condition, are the kidneys compensating through bicarbonate? Or if we're in a metabolic condition, do the lungs compensate through carbon dioxide? Our last step is to determine if we're in a hypoxic condition by looking at our oxygenation. So for our first example, we start by looking at pH. So since we're above 7.4, we know that we're high and that we're in an alkalytic state. Next, we're going to look at our carbon dioxide. This also is high. So now, since these arrows are going in the same direction, that tells us that we have a metabolic condition. And to confirm that, that would mean that we are retaining too much bicarbonate. Look here at bicarbonate, that's correct. So now, to look for the compensation that should be happening, we're going to look to carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is high, so therefore we know we have respiratory acidosis as a compensation, but since we're not back down to normal pH, we're only partially compensated. So for our second example, we're going to again start by looking at pH. Here, we're a little bit low, so we know we're in an acidotic state. Next, we're going to look at our carbon dioxide. That is high. So since these arrows are pointing in opposite directions, that tells us we have a respiratory condition. And since we can see we're retaining too much carbon dioxide, we know that's true. So for our compensation, we look at our bicarbonate. That's also high, so we know our compensation is metabolic alkalosis. And since our pH is back in a normal range, we know we're fully compensated.